Hello guys, and welcome back to Let's Build a Desert City, Episode 7, The Harbor. It is here where all of our trade vessels and military ships will make port. As we pan by our city, you can see the castle, the Republic Hall, the houses, the Coliseum, the monument, and a lot of other stuff. And our city's really coming together here. We're approaching the final bit, the home stretch. But for now, let's dive into the build of the harbor, shall we? The north of our city had a nice empty flat space open and was conveniently next to our lighthouse, so I decided, yes, this is where our harbor is going to go. So just like our other builds, using cloth to outline the foundations of where our buildings are going to go. Now, this is a key thing to remember. Just because you outline it in cloth does not mean you have to put your buildings in. You can change your design midway through if you'd like. So these three pink rectangular buildings are going to be our storage houses. These are where traders will unload their goods after making port. So we need a nice big warehouse building, pretty much. So that's what we're going for here. So I carved 3 garage doors, if you will, for where the goods will be loaded through. The middle 2 columns are a 2-layered column. The front layer is our sandstone, and then we chisel away at it, revealing the red sandstone column behind it. And the middle doorways just have a nice fence effect that resembles a gate. So at nighttime, the warehouse can close, so nobody can steal all the traders' goods. And it's time to come and just add some detailing effect to the corners so they don't look so flat. And then using red sandstone as the roof, I'm going for a half circle roof effect here. And the walls facing us and the back will be made of glass. The transition between our roof and the main building was too flat, so coming in with some minor detailings with stairs, I extended some bits and installed 2 columns to break up the window effect. Coming back to our sandstone sandwich, it was time to come in with stairs, red sandstone, and some more stairs to detail it up a bit. Then adding fence posts and glowstone, get a nice lantern effect. And then moving on to the side of the build. Repeating the theme we had on the transition between the roof and the base, we had sandstone stairs placed 1 block higher to help break up that even line. And then doing a different variation of the column we had on the front, this one's a lot taller and has some lanterns built into it. Then it was time to detail the 2 outside faces. Carved in 1 block, and I really wanted to go 2 blocks in, but then we had no wall left because the inside was empty. So we just stuck with this simple flat pillar theme with some stairs breaking it up. And it was time to move on to the back of the build. Now this part is going to be very similar to the front, except there's not going to be any doorways. Instead, we're probably just going to have a normal sandstone wall instead of having an open door. So copying and pasting the front over, came in and filled up those gaps with sandstone and just some minor detailing to those flat faces so they didn't look so plain anymore. And then coming up to the top part where we got to do our normal transition that we've had on the side and the front. This is the top floor of the storage house. I wanted to make it a little more lively, so I came in with the loose design of what I thought a storage crate would look like, and I copy and pasted it throughout. And those crates are going to be used throughout the build too to make it look like the harbor is lively and there's actually trade happening there. Before we get to that, I wanted to make a nice foundation that our harbor will be sitting on. I wanted to slightly elevate it above the rest of the ground in case, if there's a flood, you don't want your harbor getting flooded. So I used sandstone for a nice base, and I made an L shape. And within that L shape, to complete it as a square, there's going to be wood planks going there. Another enemy in your build is having it too flat. So the wooden part of the docks is going to be elevated a block lower than the sandstone bit. Varying elevations is great for a build. Here we're starting our second warehouse. There's going to be 2 of these. They're each going to have 2 doors. And they will be slightly smaller, of course. And they're going to keep the general theme that we had on the first building, just on a smaller scale. So once again, we have 1 column instead of 2, There is a two-tiered with the red sandstone behind and the glowstone in front. Moving on to our sandstone sandwich bit, the usual effect, except we're going to have two of them now. We're going to have one bit on top and one on the bottom, and they resemble sort of an A shape. And then the roof is going to be that same half circle of red sandstone. Just like the bigger building, this one's also going to have a giant glass window. And with the windows completed, it's time to come back to the transition between the base and the top floor, and add our pillars and our crown bits. And then coming in and adding the crates in, of course. And moving on to the side of the build here. Now, the side of this building is varying a lot more compared to the other one. Here we have two window effects that are carved in, revealing red sandstone and having a glowstone ornament hanging in the center. And our center column isn't really a column anymore. We carved in with stairs, revealing even more sandstone. We have this sort of half column effect coming on the top and the bottom, reaching towards the middle part. And then onto the back side. We then copied our front side and pasted it onto the back, and then filled in those holes with sandstone and some other detailing effects. And coming with the columns up at the top to break up the window, and we're done with our second warehouse, and we just copy and paste it over to the left. And originally I was going to have it on that left part next to the big warehouse, but I decided no, that's going to take up too much room. And with that, the warehouses are complete, and it's time to move on to the wooden part. Here we're going to have our docks where our boats are going to be, and our crane, which will pick up the supplies from the trade vessels. I felt like the wooden planks as a floor was just too plain. There wasn't enough detail on it, so I came in with logs and helped break up that material to make it seem like these are giant planks, sort of. And the logs are support beams or whatnot. It just has a nice effect to it. And then coming in with 3 giant sandstone pillars here. I added some red sandstone on top of these pillars, and I wanted to go for a brazier effect. The first design I felt was a bit chunky, so I removed the corners and just left them as is. And I quickly marked the outlining part with sandstone, and then in between the sandstone is where our fences are going to go, to make sure nobody falls off. And using the red sandstone, I'm outlining where our crane's going to go, and then just building out the docks where our ships are going to land. We're going to have one side bit and one far bit on the right one, and the left one is just going to have one connection. And the 2 piers that extended out from our dock needed some support, so taking sandstone stairs to knock it out 1 block, and then just normal smooth sandstone, we made a nice pillar effect to help support these. I said pillar effect again. If I say pillar effect one more time, I'm going to slap myself. Moving on past that, we are moving on to our crane. The base is going to be made of a red sandstone, and on top of that we have a normal sandstone. This is going to be a sort of rotating platform which the crane sits on. The crane itself is going to be made of a wood log for the base, and the arm is going to be wood planks and stairs. I didn't like how quick it shifted from sandstone to wood, so I made the support struts out of the sandstone to help diffuse between the sandstone and the wood. With the arm and base complete, it was time to move on to the platform. This is where the goods would be hoisted up from the ships. It's made from a simple design of fence posts and slabs. And then it's time for our ships. These ships were copied and pasted from the Riverguard build. If you want to check out the cinematic, it's on the channel. These are just our normal trade vessels. We might come back in a later build and create our military ship. But as for now, that's it. With our harbor completed, we are panning away from our lighthouse, and there you see the first warehouse. Now, I wanted a harbor that was very dense and didn't take up too much space, and I feel like we successfully accomplished that here. If you like this video, please drop a like, favorite, share, subscribe. And I guess that's it. Bye then.